And we're back to the Max Van Auken Podcast. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again. Okay. First of all, Game of Thrones was amazing last night. I don't know if you guys watched it. It's a little too early, right? I can't spoil it. I don't want to ruin that for you guys. It was an awesome season finale. I'm a huge Game of Thrones guy. Man, yeah, it was good. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I do want to talk about something. I want to talk about the word chaos. Now, I have my splendid iPhone right here to give me the definition. I want to ask you guys listening, what does chaos mean? I'll give you a second. If you're driving, of course, eyes on the road. If you're listening via podcast, on YouTube, think of the definition of chaos and what comes to mind. Okay, you should have had the answer by now. Complete disorder and confusion. Now that's the definition. It's not me. I'm not making it up. It's right here off my iPhone. Chaos, complete disorder and confusion. Now I'm a Lakers guy. But I look at the Lakers through an unbiased lens. I don't let my fandom for the Lakers to sway me in a different direction that's probably not reality. I look at it for what it is, no matter if I like it or not, as a Lakers fan. Good or bad. So chaos is the word I use. Now, normally in sports, when you think of chaos, we use that word a lot in sports. Chaos, the front management, the front office, a lot of chaos with that franchise, a lot of chaos. That's not a good thing to have. I just read you the definition. That's not a good thing to have when you describe a franchise, when you describe a player, you don't want that player to be chaotic. You don't know what you're getting day in, day out. So usually when I heard chaos in sports, I thought of the Cleveland Browns. They have a pretty chaotic front office. History shows it. The New York Knicks, James Dolan, they're pretty chaotic. You don't really know what you're getting. It's up and down, but a lot of down. It's very chaotic. Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert was very chaotic, but LeBron James was able to revive that franchise and actually deliver a championship that city hasn't gotten in 50 plus years. But now I'm starting to think, when I think of chaos, when I think of chaotic, I'm an NBA guy, I think of the Los Angeles Lakers. And it breaks my heart. I'm a Los Angeles guy. I like the Lakers. That's my team. But I think of the Lakers. When I look at that definition on my iPhone, I think of the Lakers. And it sucks. I think of the Lakers. So Magic Johnson went on First Take, right, with Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I like Fox Sports, but of course I'm going to tune in. And he goes and he defends himself about the whole Rob Pelinka issue. That predicament seems to be the most highlighted point of that conversation, where he basically says Rob Pelinka betrayed him. He went behind his back. Would talk to the people in the front office and say, hey, where's Magic today? He's not in the office. Like, that seemed to really get to him, and he didn't appreciate that people would talk behind his back, specifically Rob Pelinka. I mean, he went out and even said Rob Pelinka's name, and Magic Johnson's not a very confrontational guy. Everybody loves Magic Johnson, but he said that's what happened, and that's why he stepped away. So we all feel bad for Magic Johnson, right? He's using this platform to explain his side, because all we see is the reports about how terrible he did, about how he handled the situation, leaving the Los Angeles Lakers. We see LeBron James talking about it on The Shop, his not HBO show, but his show, and how he had no idea. He was talking to Lonzo Ball, had no idea Magic Johnson stepped down. He thought it was a joke when his friends explained it to him. So you feel bad for Magic Johnson. But before we feel bad, before we feel like he's the victim, let's evaluate what he did in the front office, because I used the word chaotic to describe the Lakers. Magic Johnson got LeBron James. Now, whether LeBron James had it was a foregone conclusion. He was going to be in LA. The fact that you were able to just secure that, you were able to keep that promise of LeBron coming to LA, you're able to make that come to fruition. You deserve some credit for that. No matter if they say LeBron was going or not, you could have easily screwed it up, could have said the wrong thing, could have not been dedicated, couldn't have not maybe met him at his house. He got LeBron James, and I do give him credit for that. I do. So for that, Magic Johnson did. But one thing about Magic Johnson, and it really is anything in life, if you're a multi-athlete, right, and you play multiple sports. I played basketball, I did some MMA, But if you play multiple sports, it's hard to focus on one particular thing and really become the greatest at that one sport because you're focused on all the other sports. You love so many sports, you may be a B plus in all of them, but you may not be an A plus in one of them because you play so much. And that's what it was like with Magic Johnson. So Magic Johnson is a guy who likes to freelance. He's got his Dodgers. He's part owners with the Dodgers. He's a brilliant businessman. Starbucks, the Lakers, his personal investments. What do we think of when we think of Magic Johnson? I think of him as, no matter how you want to order it, LeBron, Jordan, Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Magic, top 3 basketball player of all time where he facilitated. But you think about the smile. You think about how he wants to facilitate others. He's the light in the room. Everybody loves to talk to him. That's Magic Johnson. So to hold him down in one specific thing is very hard for him. We saw he wasn't a good coach. He had a talk show that didn't go well. And now he had this front office job, and that didn't go well. He walked away. So it's hard for him to commit to one specific thing because Magic Johnson's tied in so many different directions. So my point is, even though Magic Johnson did do some good things, he probably wasn't the best fit for the Lakers. Now, there's one thing that he said that is true. He said there's too many opinions. Like, you go into a room, imagine having a resume, and you submit your resume, you get the interview, they're interested in you, and you sit down and the person interviewing you can't really tell you who the boss is. You don't know who you're working for. Would you probably want to work for that company if you don't know who you're actually working for? I know I wouldn't. I want to know who I'm working for. I want to know expectations. I want to know who do I go to ask questions. Who's the face of everything? Who runs everything? So at that point, Magic Johnson was right. And I think, I agree with what he did. I'm glad he was able to go on and use his platform and defend his brand. He was able to explain his side of things. There's always 2 sides to a coin, right? 2 sides of a story. We've always heard Rob Pelinka's side. We heard all the negatives about Magic Johnson, but now he was able to use this opportunity to explain his side of things. And I don't think it's a right or a wrong. I think it's chaotic. Because when you hear all these reports, you don't know who is running the Los Angeles Lakers. So now I guess it's Rob Pelinka, president/GM. Jeannie Buss has a lot of questionable decisions, and now her friends are a huge and play intricate part of front management decisions. No one has a title. So when you attract a free agent, when you talk to a trade, and you have 4 people in the room, 5 people in the room, what is the likelihood that everybody agrees on the same decision? Because when I'm in a room full of friends, I rarely see the point where we all agree on the same thing. That really never happens, no matter what we do. I want to play basketball. He wants to watch TV. That guy just wants to drive around. That guy wants to go eat. We never all 5 of us say, hey, you know what? I want to do this. Because everyone has different priorities. People want to do different things. It's hard to get everybody to agree on the same page. And when you do, it's pretty special. You have a good time playing basketball. You have a good time going out. But a lot of people have work. A lot of people have other agendas. So my point being is that you have all these people being the face of something. So no one really knows who the face is. That's called chaotic. That's a lot of chaos. And for that, Magic Johnson was right. For what Magic Johnson did by using his platform, by going to First Take and explaining his side of things, I 100% support. And I don't think he was wrong. He stood up for himself, defended his brand, and he explained his side of the story. But what does this mean for the Los Angeles Lakers now? Because now the Lakers don't know what the hell they're doing. Let's just be honest. They don't know what they're doing. You have LeBron James, who in my opinion is the greatest player of all time. Like I said, I don't even want to get into that debate. I'll digress. If you say Michael Jordan, I know I'm in the minority. It's probably Michael Jordan. But you have somebody who has his own personal agendas. He has his own personal preferences when it comes to coaching, when it comes to the way he wants to do things. So now you have the friction of you don't want to be the Cavaliers West. So you're going to not hire Ty Lue. You're going to give him a deal that's, we'll give you 3 years, because that's how many years LeBron James has left on his contract, to a guy who's won a championship against arguably the greatest team of all time, the Golden State Warriors. At that time went 73-9, and you came back from 3-1 and beat them, and you're only going to offer him 3 years. 3 years. Ty Lue was smart not to take that. So like I said, LeBron's agenda, and now you have multiple people in the Lakers front office who all have different agendas, all have different opinions. How in the world are you going to do that? Now, I love LeBron, but this was a terrible year for him for leadership. At a leadership standpoint, he was difficult. He never rallied behind his guys. So there's a lot of chaos in Los Angeles. A lot of chaos. I don't know if they get Anthony Davis. I don't know if they get Kyrie Irving. Certainly not getting Kevin Durant. Certainly not getting Kawhi Leonard. It looks like he's probably going to be a Clipper or maybe stay in Toronto. So it's chaos. And that describes my Los Angeles Lakers. It's saddening, but it's chaos. But I do want to shift gears to this. So I'm recording this when the Golden State Warriors were up 3-0 against the Portland Trailblazers. So Game 4 is tonight. They may win. They may sweep the Trailblazers, go to the NBA Finals, or may just go one more game. I predicted the Warriors to win in 5, and I predicted Milwaukee to win in 5 against Toronto. Steph Curry and what he's doing is unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. His stats, the record without Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's obviously injured right now. And the question seems to be, are they better without Kevin Durant? Are they better without Kevin Durant? And my answer is clearly no. They're not better than Kevin Durant because you can make the case Kevin Durant's the best player in the world. So why in the world would you be better without Kevin Durant? He's the best player in the world who fits in your system, who's won 2 rings with you guys, 2 final MVPs. You're not better without Kevin Durant. But what you are is re-energized and you play a more exciting brand of basketball. When you go to the YMCA, you go to LA Fitness, wherever you go to hoop, you could be outside, inside, he's the best player on the court. He wins a lot of games. You're on his team, you probably don't score as many points, but you win a lot of games. You take him off that. You're going to score more points, but you may not win as many games. So it may seem like everyone is better without Kevin Durant because their main scorer isn't there. They run a lot more motion. There's a lot of fluidity. They're not ball dominant. The Splash Bros, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green's playing unbelievable basketball, and he's really stepped it up, and he does every time Kevin Durant's not there. He's really a true leader. But they're not a better basketball team without Kevin Durant. Now, when Kevin Durant leaves, which I believe he will, I believe he'll become a New York Knick, the Golden State Warriors are going to be an amazing team. They're still going to be great. Great coach. Steph Curry is arguably the best leader in basketball, greatest three-point shooter of all time, first ever unanimous MVP, 2 MVPs. I'm a Steph guy. I absolutely love Steph. I think he's the second greatest point guard of all time. And now if he wins a 4th championship, and I think he'll get the Finals MVP this year, I made the case, when do we start talking about possibly the greatest point guard of all time? Didn't say he is, but when do we start considering, hey, 4 rings, and like I said, the greatest shooter of all time, who's had this type of impact on the game. But my point is, when Kevin Durant leaves, they're still going to be great. I'm not saying they're not great without Kevin Durant, but with Kevin Durant, they are a better basketball team. But this is the part that gets confusing. So Kevin Durant's the best basketball player on this team. No argument there. Steph Curry is the most valuable. And I think that's where people get it twisted. I think that's where people start to get confused. You have the best player doesn't make you the most valuable. There's a difference, valuable and best. Steph Curry means more to this team. As you guys know, 2 rings 73-9 without Kevin Durant, won a championship without Kevin Durant, then they won 2 when Kevin Durant came. So they won without Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant joined this team. Steph knows how to do it on his own. He is more valuable to this team. He's the heartbeat of this team. He's the leader of this team. And everyone's acclimated, animated, everyone's hyper, everyone's energetic. There's so much emotion and adrenaline in the playoffs. You see Draymond Green has argued with Kevin Durant. You've seen Kevin Durant argue with Draymond Green. Klay Thompson's been frustrated. There's one poised guy the entire time, and that's Steph Curry. Now, he's had some incidences where he's throwing his mouthpiece. I didn't like that. But when it comes to leadership in this locker room, everyone knows it's Steph Curry. So he is the most valuable Warrior. And I think that's where the conversation gets really sticky. And I think that's when people start to confuse things about who's better and who's more valuable. Like I've always said, James Harden had a better season than a lot of people, but I don't think he's the most valuable. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. I'm not a Russell Westbrook guy. I acknowledge what he does is great, the triple-doubles. He's not more valuable than LeBron James. He's not more valuable than Giannis to me. He's not more valuable than Paul George. So, but we give them that better player status because he had a better season. It's fishy. It's fishy. But there you go. That's why Steph Curry is the most valuable, and that's why the Los Angeles Lakers are chaotic. Now I'm about to really blow your mind here. So, have this theory. The NBA draft happened, and Zion Williamson seems to be the most hyped college guy that I could remember. Probably Magic Johnson. Christian Laettner got a lot of buzz, but like Magic Johnson seems to have a lot of, like Rashad says, check out the podcast, magnetism. Zion has that magnetism. People want to play with him. People want to be around him. They want to see that smile. They want to see the highlight plays. People are going to want to play with him. They gravitate towards Zion Williamson. So you have a guy who I believe will be unbelievable in this league, but his hype is just as much as, and he backs it up with his level of play. So you have someone that special, and we have the New York Knicks, right? The most valuable franchise in the NBA. I think it was like $4-point-something billion. They're still the most valuable franchise in the NBA. And everybody wanted Zion to go to the New York Knicks, rejuvenate the New York Knicks, who have been awful. What James Dolan is doing is just shameful, right? It seems like he's backing out a little bit, but getting in arguments with fans, what he did to Oakley, like it's not right. So you want some type of hope. I like Fizdale, their new GM is good. So Zion seemed to be the guy, hey, if we get this next generation guy, then maybe we probably get Kevin Durant, and then we can start working with something here. But let's get Zion Williamson. And I think they're fine that they didn't get him. I think you're still going to get Kevin Durant. You may get Kyrie Irving. You could probably trade R.J. Barrett, that third pick, for an Anthony Davis or something. So there's still hope for the New York Knicks. I'm not saying because they didn't get Zion that they're done. But if you ask a New York fan, that night everybody wanted Zion Williamson. Not even just a New York fan. I'm a Lakers guy. I was happy we got the fourth. But if he didn't go to the Lakers, I wanted Zion to go to New York. It's just a great storyline. It's so much fun to talk about. So when Zion Williamson didn't go to New York, everyone's like, oh, man. All right, there's Memphis and there's New Orleans. It's a lose-lose. We don't want him to go anywhere. Anthony Davis is leaving New Orleans. He said it right after. I still don't want to be here. As much as they may want to convince him, he's not going to be there. So we have Zion Williamson in a football city, right? New Orleans, a football city, and the most hyped college prospect since Magic Johnson is in a football city. Not the major market, not New York, not the most valuable franchise, in New Orleans. And that's no disrespect to New Orleans, but the whole world wanted Zion Williamson to go to New York, and it didn't happen. So there's this thing out here that we've talked about, and it's going to blow your mind. You're either going to hate me or going to love me. The NBA players, so they choose where they go to college, right? You get offers, obviously. You choose which offer that you want to go to. These college athletes, football, basketball, what's the best fit for you? What do you feel most comfortable with? What do you want to invest your time in? You put your families, what do they think you should do? So it takes a lot of time. You have to sit down, they get recruited, and you map out everything. You write a pros and cons list on what college you should go to. And then you choose that college. You commit to it. We don't tell you what college to go to. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? All right, obviously you want to go in the NBA. What path, what coach do you think, what system works best for you, where you'll elevate, you'll get better, that fits you, that you'll have fun, and that gives you the best chance to achieve your overall goal? Go to the NBA. So a lot of players choose Duke because of Coach K, because of coaching, the environment. But now these players, once they go to the NBA, for example, Zion Williamson, I've been using him this entire time, doesn't get to choose where he wants to go. So all this hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, went to Duke, Coach K, great environment, and he improved even in the time we saw him at Duke. He was shooting threes and hitting them. Not an elite three-point shooter, but to the point where he actually would take them in crunch time. His leadership had dog. So we saw a lot of improvement in just that 1 year that he was at Duke, because he chose that. He knew it was best for him. But now, all that hard work, we reward him with not having a choice, and you have to go to a franchise that you don't want to go to. He's too nice of a guy to say, I don't want to go there. He's too good of a guy to say he doesn't want to go there. Because he's professional. He wanted to play even when people say don't play after his injury. But he still went there. Why do we do that? when you leave college, you can choose what you want to do. Do you want to apply to this job? Do you want to join the army? Do you want to be in nursing? Do you want to become a doctor? Do you want to become a lawyer? Do you want to go into broadcasting? But for some reason, when a collegiate athlete who excels and is about to turn pro can't have a choice about where he goes, NBA players should choose where they go and play. And I'm probably in the minority here, and it's change, and a lot of people don't like change. I like change. And they're going to say that's terrible. Then it'd be stacked. And I'm going to ask you this. Would it? Would it be stacked? I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be. What do we know a lot of players do? Because not every player has self-awareness, and not everybody's in it to win a championship. A lot of people are in it for their stats, for their endorsements, and their money. So if I'm Zion Williamson, why would I go to the Golden State Warriors? I'm not better than Kevin Durant. I'm not better than Steph Curry. I'm not better than Clay. Well, he may have a better impact eventually, but right away, these are the top players in the world. There's not really a big fit for me. Why would I go to these type of places where I can't shine the way I would somewhere else? Why would Ja Morant go and play behind one of the top point guards in the world? He's a point guard. He would probably want his own team and his own minutes and time to develop while you're young. Get better, get better, get better. So if these players got to choose where they go, it would also eliminate the biggest issue in the NBA, and that's tanking. There's about like 33% of the league tanks because they all wanted Zion. The Phoenix Suns didn't get him. I'm pretty sure they tanked. The Cavs didn't get him. I'm pretty sure they tanked. The Knicks tanked. They didn't get him. So all these teams tank to take that risk to get this good guy. So what does that give you? Product that is not good. No sense of urgency. So fans that are spending their hard-earned money go to these games. For one, not entertained. Probably don't see their players play that they want to see play. For what? How long has it? Have you been tanking, Phoenix? Because you're still not good and you're not close to being good. But if you looked in the mirror and said, hey, maybe if we play hard, we instill a good culture, we get the right coach that fits our system, and we stick with him even when times are rough, because just because you lose doesn't mean you're not a bad coach, doesn't mean you're not a good coach, you probably will get there. The Boston Celtics somehow rebuilt, but were always good. They were always good. The process worked because you happened to stumble across Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. But a lot of these tanking teams don't ever get better because they think tanking is the solution, and it's not necessarily the solution. So my point is, these teams, if they know the player can choose where they want to go, it's like a tryout for a team in a way. It's a tryout for the player. Why would you tank if the best player can choose you? Because the best player is not going to choose a franchise that's poorly ran, that's losing games. The player wants to go to a good franchise. Now, they may not be winning championships, but somewhere where they know they're in a good environment. So these teams would stop tanking. They would stop tanking. So you eliminate the tanking issue. These players get rewarded for their hard work and get to choose where they go. Zion would have chose New York. So we would have seen Zion Williamson in New York. Now, you can go through the minutia and say, okay, so Zion gets to pick where he wants to go. Maybe the second player doesn't get to pick that exact team, or after all 30 teams are selected, then we restart from this point. So there's details to go over with, but for the main idea of it, you should allow these players to choose where they go, because I think you'd be surprised on where they choose. I don't think it would always be the stacked team. I think it'd be the best team for them in that fit. New Orleans isn't the best fit for Zion Williamson. Just because he's a great guy, great player, and he's going to be an amazing NBA player, doesn't mean you can do a LeBron James and just flip that franchise around and win a championship. Why is that? Why does he get to suffer from that? Because he's so damn gifted, so hardworking. Now he has to suffer in a franchise he doesn't want to be in, and probably won't ever get him what he deserves. How is that fair? And what's going to stop other teams from tanking and keep tanking? Because you'd say, hey, you didn't get Zion, they're going to just stop tanking? No, there's a lot of teams that didn't get the number one pick who still tanked. I'm just saying it's something to think about. There's still a lot to go over, but just think about that idea. The fact that Zion Williamson would have been a New York Knick. Ja Morant, who knows where he would have chose? Who knows where he would have chose? Probably not Memphis. He probably would have chose a team that needed a point guard, like Phoenix, who would be alongside Devin Booker. So now you have John Morant, who I think is going to be incredible, going to be an all-star in this league, with Devin Booker. That's an elite backcourt already. So now Phoenix is better. New York gets who they wanted, Zion Williamson, and now you have R.J. Barrett. Now I think R.J. Barrett does work in New York right now. Just a scorer, 6'7", shoots, versatile. I think he does fit there. But there's plenty of places that could use that type of guy that he probably may want to go to. It's something to think about. And then lastly, I want to hit on one thing. Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard matched up with Giannis, and it got me to thinking. So I'm a LeBron guy. I'm a Steph guy. I'm a LeBron guy. Mainly LeBron. And one thing that I've always noticed is that we crush LeBron James every single time, right? I'm pretty sure the whole world knows when he plays, everyone watches. He's not in the playoffs now. It's the first time that's happened in forever. And if he didn't even take the shot, he would get crushed because he made the right play and he'd pass it to Mike Miller in the corner. A wide open three-point shooter, pass it to him, and it's a terrible play because he didn't take the shot. He didn't force that shot. Instead made the right basketball play and would get scrutiny for it, would get blamed. Media would go crazy over LeBron James for not taking that shot. Michael Jordan would have made that shot. Little do you know LeBron has more buzzer beaters in the playoffs than Michael Jordan, but that's not the point. But they would get on LeBron James. So everyone wants to proclaim Giannis Antetokounmpo, said his last name right, as the best player in the NBA. I love Giannis. I think he's a good guy. I think he's an incredible athlete, obviously. 6'11", his wingspan is ridiculous. 20-plus rebounds, tenacious finisher, great defender. I love Giannis. He's a top 5 player in the world. That's a compliment. Just because I don't say he's the best player in the world doesn't mean it's a diss. He's a top 5 player in the world. It's a compliment. I still have LeBron number 1, Kevin Durant, and probably then Giannis, Kawhi, Curry, mixing a couple. My point is this. So Giannis, if you are the best player in the world, we would be criticizing him right now. He would be getting bashed on social media, but it's as if that never happened. It's as if it never happened. He had 12 points and 8 turnovers. Like I said, I'm recording this on the day that the Trailblazers are playing the Warriors in Game 4. And it's as if that never happened. I didn't hear a word of it on anywhere. It's as if that never happened. Now, I know people will say, hey, did you see that game? But the way that they would criticize LeBron James, and I get it, he's not just the best player at the time. He's a generational type player. We're arguably the greatest of all time. But my point is, if you want that crown as the best player, he should get the credit when he wins, and he should also get some scrutiny and get some hate when he loses like that. It's the first time Kawhi Leonard in the series got matched up with Giannis. First time. I think they've had Siakam on him because they want to preserve Kawhi Leonard because nobody wants to take a shot for Toronto, so Kawhi Leonard has to do all the scoring offensively. So Kawhi Leonard matched up with Giannis, and Giannis finished with 12 points and 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers. And I even looked it up. I was like, because I saw it, I'm like, let me just double check, and I'll even triple check right now because when I saw it, I'm like, there's no way he had 8 turnovers. I was watching the game. I knew he had a lot. Here I go right now. Bleacher Report. Stats. Giannis, 12 points. Now, 23 rebounds is incredible. 7 assists, 5 of 16. 0 for 3 from the three-point line. 2 of 7 from the free throw line. And 8 turnovers. 8. Kobe Bryant's jersey number, 8. 8 turnovers. Like I said, I love Giannis. I'm not hating Giannis. But at some point, if we want to anoint Giannis as the best player in the world, then we should be talking about that. That's all I'm saying. But guys, I appreciate you. We're going to be having some big guests coming up. So please download and subscribe to the Max Van Auken Podcast on any podcast platform. Also on YouTube, the Max Van Auken page. Hit that subscribe button. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. And you have a great night, day, whatever you're doing, whenever you're listening to it. Hope you guys enjoyed it.